Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Brooke Taylor on my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. First of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, first, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Absolutely. I am Brooke Taylor. I've been writing for a while, but I published my book, Black Queen Struggle, February of 2021. So we just passed our anniversary. The reviews have been excellent. I wrote this book so that I could be a voice for my fellow Black queens and acknowledge our struggle and contributions in this world, and to uplift and empower our women so that they know who they are, where they come from, and the things that they can do in this world. And with this book, I hope to inspire and to continue to be a beacon of light for our women and for us all as Black people in general to unite and move forward and do great things in this world together.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to write Black Queen Struggle?
Well, because despite knowing that the Black woman is the most amazing woman in the world, we receive, the most degradation. We get disrespected the most in the United States of America in particular. And growing up as a chocolate Black girl, I know we have our own struggles that we deal with. But as I grew up, I was always acknowledged as beautiful and told that my skin is beautiful. But I know not all chocolate young women are raised being told that and having confidence in themselves. So I wanted to write a book dedicated to them, so that they know that despite what society may say about them, they are beautiful and they are the originals. And there is nothing we can't do if we put our mind to it.
Amen. Amen. Now, what is the Black Queen Struggle?
Well, the Black Queen Struggle goes back for as far as we can see. We've experienced quite a bit of injustice and disrespect, and it's very hard for us to elevate ourselves because society has put us in a particular place that makes it difficult for us to move forward and do better and be the most successful we can possibly be. I know it's changing now. I know that Black women are now the most educated people in the world outside of everybody, well, at least in the US. But our struggle stems from the inception of this country and even before. And I wanted us to acknowledge that even though we experience hardship and disrespect in the US, we've experienced it long before the United States was a country. And we have amazing Black queens that fought for our freedom, who are inventors, who are educators, who are philanthropists, who paved the way for us to have the opportunities that we have today.
What do we as Black queens need to do right now?
Right now, we need to focus on unity. We should not be trying to target each other. We are not each other's enemy. We should look at each other as sisters. We should be united. We should be on a united front, and we need to rebuild our relationships with our Black kings. And we need to make sure that we have strong bonds and strong relationships with our children as well, so that as they grow, they are not suffering from the same things and same struggles that we experience, and that we do not continue the divide that already exists amongst our people. So we need to focus on unity.
Why do you think there's a separation between us as in our women?
I believe the divide and conquer strategy has worked better than we give white society credit for. Even as far back as slavery, I do touch in my book on the Willie Lynch theory of them having the dark skins versus the light skins, having the young versus the old, having the males versus the females, and putting us in competition with each other. And I feel like right now we still feel each other as competition, when in reality there is no such thing as competition. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I say this often, that you can see a Burger King and a McDonald's in the same plaza and they are both doing well, you know? So if you can look at it in a greater spectrum as far as how businesses operate, and they have no concern with competition, we should have that same mindset and understand that if you win, I win. And we're all gonna win together.
Amen. Amen. Can you read an excerpt from your book?
Yes, I can. Can I read two pieces?
Yes.
I want to quote John Henrik Clarke, which is what I did in the very first chapter. It says, the people and the cultures of what is known as Africa are older than the word Africa. According to most records, old and new, Africans are the oldest people on the face of the earth. The people now called Africans not only influenced the Greeks and the Romans, they influenced the early world before there was a place called Europe. And I wanted to read that because I need our people to understand how deeply rooted we are in our originality. We're in a space now where across the world, Black people are treated as less than, and we're hidden from our history. So we think it started with slavery. We don't know that we existed hundreds of thousands of years before any other people existed on this earth. And then I wanted to, so what I said, my own words, is that the Black woman, you are sacred and you deserve everything. In this chapter, I'm going to present information that will help you see the true nature of who you are and where you come from. Everything you need is inside of you. I want you to discover the God in you and embrace the power you possess. Read these words and feel my love and ambition for you. We all have a struggle, and within these pages, you will see that you're not alone, and together we can elevate. And so, although the book is called Black Queen Struggle, I want us to realize that we need to focus on our sisterhood as well as unite with our people as a whole.
Amen. Amen. What did you learn while writing this book?
Oh, so much. I came across some of the most amazing African queens that I've never heard of, that were in none of my history books. I came across a number of Black female inventors, items that we use on a regular daily basis that I had no idea that a Black woman invented them. I found out who a lot of the first were, like the first Black woman to be on the radio, or the first Black woman to run for Congress in certain areas and things like that. So it took me down a beautiful rabbit hole of all of our contributions that I, without writing this book, would have never come across.
What do you want us to take away from your book?
Our history, most of all, our history and our divinity, our sacredness, the fact that we are the original, and we are special, we are unique, and we should be treated accordingly. And I want us to be able to read the book multiple times and retain the information and pass it on to our children and to our elders and have a discussion. That's the biggest thing I want this book to do, is to create a solid discussion and introduce us to some history that we never knew we had.
What advice would you give to these young queens?
Young queens, you can do anything you put your mind to. There is, I mean, they say the sky is the limit. The sky, it goes higher than the sky. You can, there is nothing on this earth that you are unable to do, the only obstacle you have is yourself. Everything you need is inside of you.
What do our older queens need to do to help our younger queens?
Be a support system. I know that the generations that are coming up now compared to the generations before are very different. The music they listen to is different. The type of things they see on TV is different. I feel like our older queens need to embrace the younger queens and accept that times are different and try to teach them more of their ways so that there can be some balance, so that our younger queens can look up to the older queens, and the older queens don't look down on the younger queens, but are more of a guide to where they should be headed.
Okay. What is your writing process like?
I outline first. I come up with the title of my book first. So I already know where I'm headed. The title will guide me, and then I will break down how many chapters I want. And then I will name each chapter so I know exactly what that chapter is going to be about specifically. And then I bullet point each chapter so I know what points I want to include in that chapter so I don't miss any information. And then I'll just go in, I start my research. Some of it is things I have to read online, or I have to go to the library and get books. And some things I have to actually reach out to real people and have interviews and discussions. And then I'll piece it all together and then start editing.
Okay. Now, so how long did it take you to write this book then?
Black Queen Struggle took me about a year. I started writing in 2018 and was done in 2019. And then we had the pandemic, so we just hung out a little bit. And then it was published in 2021. So about a year it took.
Oh, wow. Okay. What is your role in the literary industry?
My role is to inspire. I want to be the type of author that when you pick up my books, you walk away with value. It's not just entertaining to you, but it gives you more insight into yourself and into the world around us in general.
Okay. So tell us about your publishing journey.
Well, the publishing journey wasn't too bad. I did have a little assistance. I reached out to a lady who helped me with my editing once I was done with the book, and she was able to walk me through the process of how to get my book on Amazon. And she was the one who encouraged me to start my website so that I have multiple ways for individuals to purchase the book. But it was very straightforward because I didn't go through the traditional publishing company. I kind of did it all on my own. So it was a little harder than going through traditional because they do all the legwork, and I've been doing all the legwork myself. But it's been very rewarding to have those direct interactions with the publishing of my book.
Okay. What are you currently working on right now?
I am currently working on my second book. I have not decided on a title yet, but in 2020, I started classes to become a chemical dependency counselor. And while in that class, I met a brother who had just got out of prison he was in prison for 21 years. And I feel for our brothers very, very much. I'm like a Black king advocate. Like I love our men. So as soon as he said he just got out of prison after 21 years, I was very compelled to talk to him. I wanted to know his story and what he had been through. And it's what inspired my second book. which is going to dive more into the Black King struggle.
Okay.
I won't name it that, but it'll dive into the Black man's experience with mass incarceration, police brutality, and just the overall target that the Black man has in this particular country. So it'll dive into the Black man and what he's been enduring over centuries in this country.
Yes. What in-person or virtual book events do you have for this year?
Well, I am currently working on a virtual Meet the Author. I have not picked a date yet, but I am building it up. My last book event, it wasn't virtual. It was in Rochester, New York. It was beautiful. But because the world is so crazy now, my next book event will be virtual, but I'm thinking about spring will be my virtual Meet the Author. And I like to go through a PowerPoint that breaks down each chapter for those who have not had the opportunity to read the book. It'll go through what the chapter entails and the values of each chapter, and pretty much get my readers the opportunity to learn and get to know me on a deeper level.
Yes, I like that idea. How did you come up with the title?
Well, I wanted a title that encompasses the entire book. So for me, I wanted to acknowledge our queendom, but I also wanted to acknowledge the fact that as queens, we experience a struggle that is separate from anybody else. And I felt like Black Queen Struggle did that for me. And I've actually been able to see it, because when I tell people the title of my book, they're instantly intrigued. Like, well, what struggle? Or, what queens, Black queens, but what queens in particular, and what struggle are we focused on?
Okay. And I love the cover. So tell us about your cover design.
Yes. Okay. So I love my cover too. Before the cover was made, my vision was I wanted to have a silhouette of Africa. I feel like Africa is the mother. There is that, that's our birthplace. And I wanted to have a Black woman inside of Africa, in some way, shape, or form. And this is how it came out. And I love it. So it has the silhouette of Africa, and we have our Black woman with her crown. And originally, I kind of wanted her to be crying, but I'm so glad that that's not how my designer did it, because she has more of a I'm wonderful kind of peacefulness about herself.
Confident.
Yeah, that confidence. And to have her crown, it just set it off for me. So that was my vision, was to have Africa and a Black woman embracing the mother.
Okay. How can readers find you and your book?
Define?
How can they find your...
Find. If you know what I found, that if you go on Amazon and search my book, it's really hard. But if you Google Black Queen Struggle, it pops right up. And then my website is mygoddessuniverse.com. And all the information about my book is there. Any other services I provide, my blog. And right now, my book is 25% off. From it started January 17th to the end of February. We started our Black History celebration with Martin Luther King's birthday. So I made the books $15 instead of the typical $20. But on my website, it still gives the option to purchase it at full price, because $5 goes to nonprofits when it's purchased at full price.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
Just that a lot of love went into this book. I was intentional And I wanted it to be a true inspiration. I wanted anyone who read this book to walk away with something. And I'm so proud that so far that has been my feedback. And I've been told that they are learning things they've never learned, and it is inspiring people to pick up more books about our history and to learn more about themselves. And so that is my goal, and that's what I want people to take away from the book, is just learn more and dive more into who you are and where you come from, and be united. Know that the other Black woman is not your enemy, regardless of skin tone or background, economic or social status. We are all family, and we need to embrace our kings, our children, and our elders, because without each other, we'll continue to be victims of the war that has been waged against us.
Amen. Well, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just
You're welcome.
over the moon.
Thank you. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.